Salvete! Welcome, dear Latinists, language enthusiasts. Welcome to another video, and in fact a brand new unit. In this video we shall be looking at the imperfect tense in Latin. In the last unit I produced a number of videos going through the perfect tense. The perfect tense is used to refer to an action completed in the past. I went to the forum, we drank the wine, she ate the food. It happened and then it's over. The imperfect tense, it's still past, but it's not looking at the action as a one-off completed event, but more something that was either ongoing or that used to happen. So we'll explore this a little bit in this video and the following videos. So a couple of examples then in English with the imperfect. Something like, I used to play the piano. That would be imperfect tense. We don't have a special imperfect tense in the English language. We have to convey that idea using a number of helper words, let's say, such as used or would, whereas in Latin we're able to convey the idea within one word by changing the endings. So in English we could say, I used to play the piano. Perfect tense would be, for example, I played the piano last night. One event, focusing on one event that finished, started and finished within a reasonably short amount of time. Whereas I used to, we're not really speaking about a specific moment, an action that went on over a longer period of time, a custom or a habit. I used to play the piano. I would often visit my grandparents. When I was younger, I would often. It's not one specific event. That would be perfect tense. I visited my grandparents last night. But I would often. I used to visit. Again, this is imperfect. The other situation would be describing an event as it was ongoing at the time. For instance, we were walking in the park. On Saturday, we were walking in the park. We were chatting. The birds were singing. So you're describing something that was ongoing, and perhaps it's going to build up to a specific event, which would be perfect tense. But the imperfect is the ongoing action. So we have two real options here: was doing or used to do. So it could be either of those when you see a verb in the imperfect in Latin. Let's take a few examples and hopefully it will become clearer. We're going to start in this video with are verbs, first conjugation verbs, and I always like to start with amare. Hopefully you remember that means to love. And in the present tense, you should be really good at this now. It is amo, amas, amat, amamos, amatis, amant. But in the imperfect, what we'll do is remove our infinitive are ending, which takes us back to the stem, in this case am, and then we're going to add amabam. Amabam, I was loving, or maybe I used to love, depending on the situation. Amabas, you used to love. Amabat, he or she. Let's just do those three again. So, I was loving. Amabam. Amabas, that's you. Third person, amabat. Again, please. Amabam, amabas, amabat. It's all about the b with this imperfect tense. When you see this bam, bas, bat, straight away, you know it's incomplete, ongoing, repeated action in the past. Let's finish off the whole paradigm. Amabam, amabas, amabat, plural. Amabamos, we. Amabatis, you, plural. They over there, amabant. If you think about it, that nt ending is also there in the present tense. Amant, meaning they. But this time we have the ba. Let's do that again, guys. So, from I right through down to they, and we're saying here, I was loving or I used to love. Amabam, amabas, amabat. Amabamos, amabates, amabant. Amabam, amabas, amabat. Amabamos, amabates, amabant. Good. Let's do another one. What about the verb to live? You live in your habitat, right? The infinitive is habitare. Habitare. How do we form the imperfect? What did I say? Remove the are, gives us a stem. Habit. Habit. And then we'll add bam for me. So habitar bam, habitar bas. You lived, were living. Habitar bat, he, she, it lived, was living, used to live. Habitar bamus, habitar batis, habitar bant. Again, habitar bam, habitar bas, habitar bat. Habitar bamus, we. Habitar batis, you all. Habitar bant, they did. Let's choose another verb. What about to greet? You know, the sentence could be, oh, I would greet my neighbour every morning. I used to live on this particular street when I was younger, and every day I would greet. This is the kind of sense of imperfect. The verb is salutare. Stem is salute. How are we going to do it? You say it? Salutar bam, salutar bas, salutar bat, he, she. Salutar bamus, salutar batis, salutar bant. Come on again, please, with emphasis. Salutar bam, salutar bas, salutar bat. Salutar bamus, salutar batis, salutar bant. And so we have bam bas bat, bamus batis bant. Bam bas bat, bamus batis bant will work for every are verb. And there are a great many of them. Congratulations. If you can conjugate it with one verb, like amare, you can conjugate it with every are verb. And actually, as you'll see in the following videos, it's really quite similar and quite easy with the other conjugations as well. So nothing to fear here, nothing to worry about, just another pattern. And that's all it is, isn't it? Patterns, different sounds that we become acquainted with. So, bam bas bat, bamus batis bant. And as soon as you see that when you're reading Latin, straight away the alarm bell should ring. This is imperfect ending, which means was doing, used to do, would do, as in I would often, I would always. Those are the real main equivalents in the English language. Perhaps you can think of them in other languages if you're a speaker. If you're a native speaker of a different language, I should be interested to hear how you convey the idea of ongoing, repeated action in the past. Can you do it with one verb, with one word, or do you have to do it so-called periphrastically, which is to say using helper or auxiliary verbs as we do in English? There is, strictly speaking, no imperfect tense in English. We only have two tenses, present and preterite. Go, went, eat, ate, sit, sat, stand, stood. That's all there is in terms of what you can convey with one word. But we can, of course, refer to other time frames and aspects of tense using additional words. So, I am going to read a few sentences in Latin, first of all, and I want you to see if you can translate them into English. They are all imperfect, and then we shall go the other way around, and you can try to translate into Latin. And of course, just pause the video if you need to, take a moment to think, and then listen to my answer. So here we go. I'm hoping you recognize all of these verbs now that we're a good few units into this course. First sentence. Dominus Romae habitabat. Dominus Romae habitabat. The master used to live, was living, Romae, in or at Rome. The master lived, used to live at Rome. In this case, you could probably just say lived, because you don't just live somewhere for it's an ongoing event, isn't it? So I think that would be fine as well in English with this particular verb, because it's implied that it was ongoing. But you can say used to, would live. I could add a little adverb there for you. diu, for a long time. Think about duration. Dominus Romae diu habitabat. Dominus Romae diu habitabat. Let's have another sentence. Domina benigna. It's an adjective. Domina benigna. Ancillas semper laudabat. Domina benigna. Ancillas semper laudabat. The mistress. Kind mistress. Benigna. Feminine, ending the a in agreement with the noun. The kind mistress would often used to praise the slave girls, her slave girls. You could also say was praising if you're, imagine you're picturing a scene and something was happening in the background. The mistress was praising the slave girls when all of a sudden, I don't know, the window smashed or something like that. So there are multiple possible options here, and it would all, of course, be very much context dependent. So I'll accept any of the above. Next one. Pueri saepe in horto pugnabant. Pueri saepe in horto pugnabant. Have you got it? Pause if you need a moment. The boys, pueri saepe often in horto in the garden pugnabant. Imperfect tense from pugnare, would fight, used to fight. The boys would often fight in the garden. Repeated action in the past. One more into English for you. Metella filias amabat. Metella filias amabat. Metella, proper noun, it's her name. Loved, used to love the daughters. We understand here. Her daughters. Metella loved her daughters. Again, that's a situation where I think you could just put loved. You could put used to love, but again, it's an action that was spanning a longer period of time, and so loved would be fine there. Let's now try it into Latin. Just a few sentences for you guys. Father would work in the field. I'll just help you with that last word. We can have campus or ager. Think about agriculture. They are second declension masculine nouns, and so you'll need to put it in the ablative. Campus or ager. Father, what did I say? Would work, used to work in the field. Pater, in campo or in agro, ablative case, laborabat. Laborabat, and that's actually the main point here. So if you've got the laborabat, that bat, used to work, was working, then that's your imperfect tense. Well done. Second sentence. We often used to walk in the garden. Or you could say, we would often walk in the garden. Repeated action. We would often walk in the garden. Have a think. Pause if you need to. Saepe in horto ambulabamos, from ambulare. Saepe in horto ambulabamos. Very, very good. The pronoun there in the nominative case will be nos, N-O-S, we, but it is not used in with the same frequency that it is in English, certainly in the nominative case, for the simple reason that the verb at the end, the conjugation is unique to the first person plural here. So we, ambulabamos, can only mean we. And so therefore, to put nos at the start of it is redundant, really. So another one. Claudius would always praise his son. We'll just say the son. Don't worry about the possessive word. We're going to cover those soon, actually. Claudius would always praise the son. Do you remember praise? To praise, laudare, laudare. So pause if you need to. Claudius filium, accusative, um, semper, always, laudabat, laudabat. Claudius, filium semper laudabat. The perfect tense, for those of you who've covered it or watched those videos, would be laudavit with V-I-T. And that would mean he praised there and then. It's a one-off action, so it wouldn't really work with semper, I don't think, there, because that implies repeated action, always. Here, Claudius filium semper laudabat, imperfect tense. Let's have one last sentence. We lived or used to live in Rome. We used to live in Rome. Romae habitabamus, from habitare. Romae, just one word, that covers all the information. Not in Roma, doesn't work. Romae habitabamus. If you wanted to add a little adverb there, a temporal adverb, then at that time you could say tunc, perhaps eo tempore. That's an adverbial phrase there in the ablative case. Eo tempore, at that time, maybe also per multos annos, through many years, over many years, for many years in English. Per multos annos. Per multos annos Romae habitabamus. Eo tempore Romae habitabamus. Very good, well done. In particular, if you're getting these imperfect endings. Let us just one more time conjugate a verb of choice. What shall I choose here? Let's go for laudare, to praise. Imperfect stem is laud. Laudabam, laudabas, laudabat. Laudabamus, laudabatis, laudabant. They would, used to, were praising. Very, very well done. I hope you found that useful, informative, and hopefully nice and easy. You may need to go over it one more time just to get those endings in your head, and I'll come back soon with another video where we'll look at the same situation with some verbs belonging to the second conjugation. Thank you very much. Gratias vobis ago maximas et valete.